The Nightingale and the Rose. She said that she would dance with me if I brought her red roses, cried the young student. But in all my garden there is no red rose. From her nest in the oak tree, the nightingale heard him, and she looked out through the leaves and wondered. No red roses in all my garden, he cried, and his beautiful eyes filled with tears. Ah, on what little things does happiness depend? I have read all that the wise men have written, and all the secrets of philosophy are mine. Yet for what of a red roses is my life made wretched? Here at last is a true lover, said the nightingale. Night after night have sung of him, though I knew him not. Night after night have I told his story to the stars, and now I see him. His hair is dark as the hyacinth blossoms, and his lips are red as the rose of their desire. But passion has made his face like pale ivory, and sorrow has set her seal upon his brow. The prince gives a ball tomorrow night, murmured the young student, and my love will be of the company. If I bring her a red rose, she will dance with me till dawn. But there is no red rose in my garden, so I shall sit lonely, and she will pass me by. She will have no heed of me, and my heart will break. Here indeed is a true lover, said the nightingale. What I sung of he suffers. What is joy to me, to him is pain. The musicians will sit in their gallery, said the young student, and play upon their stringed instrument, and my love will dance to the sound of the harp and the violin. He buried his face in his hands and wept. Why is he weeping? Asked a little green lizard, as he ran past him with his tail in the air. Why indeed? Whispered a daisy to his neighbor in a soft, low voice. The nightingale said that he was weeping for a red rose. For a red rose? They cried. How very ridiculous! And the little lizard laughed out. But the nightingale understood the secret of the student's sorrow, and he sat silent in the oak tree and thought about the mystery of love. Suddenly, she spread her brown wings for flight and soared into the air. She passed through the grove like a shadow, and like a shadow, she sailed across the garden. In the center of the grass plot was a beautiful rose tree, and when she saw it, she flew over to it. Give me a red rose, she cried, and I will sing you my sweetest song. But the tree shook its head. My roses are white, it answered, but go to my brother who grows around the old sundial, and perhaps he will give you what you want. So the nightingale flew over to the rose tree that was growing around the old sundial. Give me a red rose, she cried, and I will sing you the sweetest song. But the tree shook its head. My roses are yellow, it answered, as yellow as the hair of the mermaid. Maiden. But go to my brother who grows beneath the stern's window, and perhaps he will give you what you want. So the nightingale flew over to the rose tree that was growing beneath the student's window. Give me a red rose, she cried, and I will sing you my sweetest song. But the tree shook its head. My roses are red, it answered, as red as the feet of the dove, and redder than the great fans of the coral that wave and weave in the ocean cavern. But the winter has chilled my veins, and the frost has nipped my buds, and the storm has broken my branches, and I shall have no roses at all in this year. One red rose is all I want, cried the nightingale. Only one red rose. Is there no way by which I can get it? There is a way, answered the tree, but it is so terrible that I dare not to tell it to you. Tell it to me, said the nightingale. I am not afraid. If you want a red rose, said the tree, you must build it out of a music by moonlight and stain it with your own heart's blood. You must sing to me with your breast against a throne. All nights long you must sing to me, all the throne must pierce your heart, and life blood must flow into my veins and become mine. Death is a great price to pay for a red rose, cried the nightingale. Life is very dear to all. It is pleasant to sit in the green wood and to watch the sun in this chariot of gold, and the moon in her chariot of pearl. Sweet is the scent of the hawthorn, and sweet are the bluebells that hide in the valley, and the heather that blows on the hill. Yet love is better than life, and what is heart of a bird compared to the heart of a man? So she spread her brown wings of light and soared into the air. She swept over the garden like a shadow, and like a shadow she sailed to the grove. The young student was still lying on the grass where she had left him. The tears were not yet dry in his beautiful eyes. Be happy, cried the nightingale. Be happy, you shall have your red rose. I will build it out of music by moonlight and stain it with my own heart's blood. All that I ask you in return is that you will be the true lover. The student looked up from the grass and listened, but he could not understand what the nightingale was saying to him, for he only knew the things that are written down in books. But the oak tree understood and felt sad, for he was very fond of the nightingale. He had built her nest in his branches. Sing me one last song, he whispered. I shall feel when you are gone. So the nightingale sang to the oak tree, and her voice was like water bubbling from a silver jar. When he had finished her song, the student got up and pulled a notebook and a pencil. And when the moon shone in the heavens, the nightingale flew into the red rose tree and set her breast against the thorn. All night long she sang, with her breast against the thorn. The cold crystal moon leaned down and listened. All night long she sang, and the thorn went deeper and deeper into her breast, and her life bled away from her. On the topmost spray of the rose tree there blossomed a marvelous rose petal, flowing petal, as song followed song. But the tree cried to the nightingale to press closer against the thorn. Press closer, little nightingale, cried the tree, for the day will come before the rose is finished. So the nightingale pressed closer against the thorn, and louder grew her song. And a delicate flush of pink came into the leaves of the rose. And the tree cried to the nightingale to press closer against the thorn. Press closer, little nightingale, cried the tree. Oh, the day will come before the rose is finished. So the nightingale pressed closer against the thorn, and the thorn touched her heart, and fierce pang of a pain shot through her. Bitter was the pain, and wilder and wilder grew her song, for she sang of the love that is perfected by death, of the love that disk not in the tomb. And the marvelous rose became crimson like the rose of the eastern sky. But the nightingale's voice grew fainter, and her little wings began to beat, and a feeling came over her eyes, fainter And fainter grew her song, and she felt something choking her in her throat. Then she gave one last burst of music. The white moon heard it, and she forgot the dawn that lingered on in the sky. The red rose heard it, and it trembled all over with ecstasy, and opened its pearls to the cold morning air. Look, look, cried the tree. The rose is finished now, but the nightingale made no answer, for she was lying dead in the long grass with a thorn in her heart. And a more at noon, the student opened his window and looked out. Why, what a wonderful piece of luck, he cried. Here is a red rose. I have never seen any red rose all my life. And he leaned down and plucked it. Then he put on his hat and ran up to the professor's house with the rose in his hand. The daughter of the professor was sitting in the doorway, winding blue silk on a reel, and her little dog was laying at her feet. You said that you would dance with me if I brought you a red rose, cried the student. Here is the reddest rose in all the world. You will wear it tonight next to your heart, and we will dance together. But the girl frowned. I'm afraid it will not go with my dress, she answered, and besides, the Chamberlain's nephew has set me some real jewels, and everybody knows that jewels cost far more than flowers. Well, upon my word, you are very ungrateful, said the student angrily. And he threw the rose in the street, where it fell into the gutter, and a cart wheel went over it. What a silly thing love is, said the student as he walked away.